Good evening there, folks. My name is Steve Rennie. I am the Ren Baron, and this is my Ren Baron Learning to Fly YouTube channel. Tonight, I'm doing another little practice rehearsal flight from our upcoming trip across the U.S. with my wife. Last night, we flew from Boeing Field to Medford, Oregon. Today, we're going to fly from Medford, Oregon to Paso Robles, California. Today, I'm going to take you through the whole process here on the sim. To give you an idea of how this all works, including the pilot edge piece of this. So let's start right now. And let's see if I can get it all right here. Just had dinner, folks, so pardon me if I'm a little gassed up here. Anyway, let's go over to pilot edge and see if we can get that working properly. And there it is. Okay, so let's go in here. We're going to go up here, and I'm going to file a flight plan. I want to make sure everybody can hear me properly here. If anybody's watching there, let me get our chat section over here up and running, and now it is. And let's see, I'll do a little monitoring while we're here, see if anybody watching yet.
45% power.
Okay, we got 5 viewers. Okay, folks, if you could be so kind as to let me know if the sound is okay. I'm going to put a little note in there. Sound okay. And then we'll take you through this whole process here.
45% power is perfect.
3371 coast 17, thanks for the help.
So we've got our speed under, we'll be able to get to
Alrighty, here's how we're going to file this flight plan. We're going to go to the home Pilot Edge homepage here. I've already signed in or logged in. We're going to click on the File Flight Plan section here. I'm going to go number 1, type is IFR, Aircraft Identifier 768 Foxtrot Sierra, SR22. Our equipment code is Slant Golf.
So we've got our speed under, we'll be able to get
to 175 knots. Our departure airport. This is one I have to enter with the keyboard. KMFR, Medford, Oregon.
We've got our speed under, we'll be able to get
to go to KPRB, which is Paso Robles.
45% power is perfect.
We are going to be flying at 11,000 feet, and our alternate airport will be we don't need an alternate. It's really good right now. So let's go and put in our flight plan. We know we're taking off from FMR. Our first waypoint is going to be Frank Juliet Sierra.
45% power is perfect.
What is that?
3371 coast.
Let's try that again. Let's go.
So we've got our speed under, we'll be able to get
Foxtrot
to
Juliet Sierra. Space. Then we've got Victor 23, Victor
3371 coast.
Space.
17, thanks for the help.
So we've got our speed under, we'll
SAC,
be able to get to
SAC, Sierra Alpha Charlie, SAC. We've got MOD, which is Modesto.
45% power is perfect.
And we've got KPRB, so that's our flight plan here
tonight. We'll be able to get to
and we're going to go click on File Flight Plan, and it has been successfully filed there. So let's come back to the host here. That's me. Okay. Now let's go into the cockpit and get this baby fired up and ready to go. All right, Justin, thanks so much, Justin Gusick, for helping out there with giving me a little sound check. All right, we're in the cockpit now. Let's get in the cockpit. Let's go reset to our reset X-plane, and let's go for our okay, now that's not switching over for some reason here. Reset X-plane. Let's go flight default MFD, and it's not doing that for some reason here. Okay, let's go back to cockpit views here. Let's go. There we go. Now we're in the cockpit. Okay, great. I'll put my little mug in there just to kind of walk you through all of this. Okay, so we're on the ramp now. Let me make sure also that our iPad is working properly here. Let me see if we got that in there. Cockpit iPad. No, that's not, seems to be working. Hang on one second here, sports fans. Let's get this going here. Click to begin broadcasting. Start the broadcast. Okay, let's get our flight plan up here. Okay, there we go. All right, so there's our flight plan for today. We're going to be going on from Medford down to Paso Robles here. And you can see our little route. It's pretty much right down Central Valley of California. We pass over Sacramento, then over Modesto, and then down to Paso Robles. In the real world, I might try to make this all the way on 60 gallons to Santa Monica, but that's cutting it pretty tight without some wind to help us here. So let's go back to just our normal setup here, and let's get started here. Okay, so I'm going to go up here, and you can't really see this, but for my plugins, I'm going to go up to the Pilot Edge plugin here, and I'm going to go connect. Now, if you folks aren't familiar with Pilot Edge, it's kind of a ATC plugin where they take off-duty controllers who actually give you a real ATC experience. Pretty fun stuff, if you ask me. So that's actually seems to be working properly now. Excuse me. And let's go also check our preferences here to make sure that I'm hearing it out of my headphones here, and we got headphones, Bose. Okay, so that's, if you haven't done it before and you're playing around with a simulator and you're trying to use it as a real training tool, I recommend that you use Pilot Edge. It's really great stuff. Okay, the keys are in the ignition now. Excuse me. Let's get ready to start doing our thing here. I'm using the Cirrus or SR22 setup here in my office. This is a Real Sim Gear GCU. These are Real Sim Gear PFD, MFD. This is what's known as the Cirrus console. All of this is made by the fine folks at Real Sim Gear in San Diego, California. This, let's see if you can see it here, if I can show it. This right here is my Cirrus side stick, which is made by Noble Flight Sims, excuse me. And tomorrow, I'm scheduled according to the fine folks at FedEx to receive a brand new throttle quadrant by Noble Flight System that will really kind of round out my whole setup here. So, in any event, let's see if all of it is working properly, and I'm going to hit switch number 1, battery 2, and that is firing up. But come down here to throttle quadrant. If I saw a green light right in here, that would not be a good sign, but we're not seeing that. So let's come back up top here. We're going to hit battery 1 now. Okay, the PFD is fired up. The MFD is firing up. That pesky little bell going there. Okay, there's our Cirrus screens that we get on startup. We'll skip through all those. We're going to go down and we're going to be flying with tabs again, which is 60 gallons here in the Cirrus. Okay, because we're going to have an additional passenger with us on this final leg of the final legs of our flight across the country. Funny that I would practice the end of the flight. I'm kind of practicing the ending and working backwards. It's just how my kooky mind operates here. All right, so let's fire this amp. We got battery 2, battery 1. So now let's go down to the throttle quadrant here. We're going to go flip our mixture full. We're going to throw our throttle full. We're going to hit the high boost pump right here and count to 4. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4. Okay, we've got that. Now we're going to pull our power back to 1/4 inch here. Then we're going to get our ignition switch over to both. I'm going to give it a little bit of regular boost prime right here, which I'm going to do right now. And then we're going to come up top and we're going to fire this baby up. Okay, and we got a nice start right out of the box here. And I'm going to give it just a little bit of sound volume here so I can hear it. All right, there we go. All right, so now let's take care of the rest of this. Our strobe should have been on. I always mess that up. So now we'll go alternator 1, alternator 2, avionics. And everything should start firing up here a little bit. So now we're going to go back to the flight plan, which is, of course, is empty right now. So let's come up top here. And let's get this. All right, let's go reset X-plane. There we go. Let's come up top. Okay, so now we got KMFR. Let's put in the rest of this flight plan here, which we originally put in over here on our iPad. So we're going to go KFMR. We're going to go from there to Foxtrot, Juliet, Sierra. Enter, enter. Okay, then it's going to be Victor 23, so we'll go menu, load airway. There's Victor 23, great. We're going to get out at Victor 23 at Sacto. Let's see where that is. Got a lot of Victor 23 Sacto. Let's see, come on baby, where are you? Hiding down in here somewhere. Eugene, it's a long road there, isn't it? Sacto, there's Sacto. Okay, that's Sacramento. We call it Sacto out here in Cali. There's Victor 23, all of those fixes. Glad we don't have to enter all of those. Then Modesto, which is Mike, Oscar, December, or Delta, excuse me. That's for Modesto, California. And then KPRB, Kilo, Papa, Romeo, Bravo, enter, and there is our flight plan. All right, now what we've got to do is I'm going to go back over to our default.
Walker 169 of the contact Denver Center 127.02.
2702, Walker 169, heavy.
All right, now I'm going to show you back again on our iPad how I use this. And in our Cirrus SR22 Gen 6, a lot of this is built into the Perspective Plus, but today we're going to do it all off of the iPad so you can see what we're doing. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go hit on the FMR side of things, and I'm going to get my frequency set here. So my ATIS is going to be 127.25. My ground is going to be 121.8.
Speedbound 4750, accident parking via Juliet Zulu.
Tower is 119.4. And the departure frequencies is going to be 124.3, it says. We'll check that with our friends at ATC here. Okay, so let's go get our ATIS. So let's get our frequencies loaded here. Let's come up close. And we like to get them done on the bottom. So we're going to do 127.25. That's our ATIS for Medford. And let's get our ground in there while we're at it. 121.8. Here's 121.8, and then I like to get my tower, my takeoff tower and departure on top. So that's going to be 119.4. There's 4. We're going to switch that into active, and then we're going to 124.3 is in standby, and so we're all good. So now let's go down here to the autopilot and comms, and I'm going to press mic 2 here and monitor.
Arriving and parting runway 14. Visual approaches in use. Read back all runway assignments and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact. You have information echo.
Okay, so we got echo. Let's get the winds.
Rogue Valley International Airport. ATIS information echo. 0053 Zulu. Wind variable at 4. Visibility 10. Sky condition clear. Temperature 24. Dew point 4. Altimeter 3003. Arriving and departing runway 14. Visual approaches in use. Read back all runway assignments.
Okay, so now we're going to switch over ground. So now that we've got what we've got needed there, now let's go and put some of this information in the hopper here. Let's go back to our close-up here. We got 3003 is going to be our altimeter, so we've got that all set. The winds are variable, so that's not going to be a problem today. Now we need to, we filed our flight plan. Okay, let's get rid of that iPad here now. We filed our flight plan. You saw me do that on Pilot Edge. We would have done that with ATC. On my telephone, usually on my cell phone usually. All that information you saw right there, I wrote down and showed you is on my little flight sheet here that you've seen me use before. If any of you folks want one of those, I can send you a link to that if you like here. Okay, so let's go back to the cockpit here. All right, so now we've got ground 121.8 is active on COM2, so let's give them a call and see what's up there. Okay. Rogue Valley ground Sierra 768 Foxtrot Sierra at General Aviation Parking with Echo. I'd like to pick up my IFR flight plan to Paso Robles Kilo Papa Romeo Bravo.
Number 768 Foxtrot here, Medford ground clearance on request.
Thank you, 8 Foxtrot Sierra. Okay, so we'll wait. We'll wait for them to come back to us. In the meantime, we'll go back to the map and I'll put in some frequencies for Paso Robles. Our Paso Robles ATIS is going to be 120.125. Going to be putting those in on my little sheet right here. The Unicom there is 123.0 untowered airport. So that's everything we need for there right now. And so I'll go back to my flight plan and we'll go back to the cockpit here. We're taking off on runway 4, so let's take a look at our airport. Here's where we are on the ramp right now. I'll show you that on the iPad. There's where we are on the ramp. We're right there. We're going to be taking off on runway 4. So that means we are going to take Bravo 2 to Bravo 3 and then cross over to Alpha, it looks like. So that's going to be our flight. Now there's an interesting new feature here you'll notice in let's get rid of that. Delete, clear. Okay, so we are going to be taking off on runway 14 and okay, there it is. Okay, great. This is a great new feature they've got here that basically, oh geez, what happened here? Basically paints
768 Foxtrot Sierra, Medford ground. Clear to the Paso Robles Airport. Route 7 departure. Talem transition. Direct Fort Jones. That is filed. Climb via SID. Departure frequency is Cascade 124.3. Squawk 4545.
Okay, we're cleared to Paso Robles on the Brute 7 arrival. Then Talem, is that Tango, Alpha, Lima, Echo, Mike, then direct Fort Jones, Foxtrot, Juliet, Oscar, as filed. We'll climb via the SID, 124.3 on the departure frequency and 4545 on the squawk. 8 Foxtrots here.
Right, Foxtrot Sierra. Route 7 departure, Talem transition. Direct Fort Jones, Foxtrot, Juliet, Sierra.
And what's the correct spelling on Talem? 8 Foxtrots here.
You had it right, Tango Alpha Lima Echo Mike.
Great. Okay, thank you. I'll get that program and then I'll come back to you for taxi clearance. 8 Foxtrots here.
Right, Foxtrot Sierra. Just verify Fort Jones for me. You misspelled it. Foxtrot, Juliet, Sierra.
Foxtrot, Juliet, Sierra. 8 Foxtrot Sierra. Okay, gotcha. Thank you. That's direct Foxtrot, Juliet, Sierra as filed. 8 Foxtrot Sierra.
And that is after Talem on the Brute 7 departure, correct?
After Talem on the Brute 7 departure, exactly. Thank you. 8 Foxtrot Sierra. All right.
Foxtrot Sierra, refactory.
Okay, so now let's get all that programmed here. Let's go back over to our iPad here. Well, actually, first let's go over to our flight plan up here. Okay, Talem. All right, so we're going to fly there's Fort Jones. Okay, so we're going to go in here. We're going to go procedure, departure, the Brute 7 off of runway 14. Talem transition. We're going to load that and see how that all looks. Departure is Lanks, Jaden, Lahandy, Lipwo, and then Talem, and then Fort Jones. Okay, let me take a look at this departure over here. Let's take a quick look here. I should have done all this ahead of time. So now we will look at KMFR, the departure. Let's go to departure here. Okay, let's go back over here. Let's go see what this departure looks like here. We're going to climb via this head. Okay, hang on. Let's go binders. Let's go binder here. Add a plate. We want Rogue Valley. We want the Brute 7 departure here. Let's see what that looks like. Let's go close. All right. Let's go show that to you here. Here's the Brute 7 departure here. And we are going to be flying. What does it say down here? Standard instrument requires takeoff minimums. Okay, so we're going to make a climbing right turn direct MEF NDB, then depart MEF NDB bearing 066 to Brute. Okay, so we depart, then an 066 heading. All right. Should have checked this one out ahead of time. You'll bear with me, gentlemen. I'm just going to get this right. Climbing right turn direct MEF. Climbing right turn. It's 1,735 feet here. Let's get rid of the come up close here. Let's get rid of the iPad for a second. Okay, it's climbing right turn. Going runway 14 to 326. Then climbing right turn back to Brute to 1,734. Okay, 1,735 feet is going to be our first altitude here. 1735. Then MEF, then Brute. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to let the this. Okay, let's put that in up here on our iPad. Departure, Brute 7. We want Talem, and then that we're off of runway 14, and let's add that to our route. Come back down in here and look and see what that looks like. All right, so runway 14. We're going to take off. Brute 7 to Talem, then direct FJSN. Direct MEF. So we're going to take off, and then we're going to turn to 330, and then 066 to Brute. Okay. Well, let's see if we can get that done. All right. So now that we've got that, okay, let's put in the rest of this. Our squawk 4545. 4545. That is down here. Let's go to out and get that all set. All right, we're great there. We got 124.3 up top. That is a check. We're going to fly the SID, which means we go to 1,735 feet. And then we start this turn to 330. So that's where we kick in nav at 330. All right. And then departure, and then we're going to go to Talem. To Talem, and then direct Fort Jones. Okay, so I think that's all set. All right, let's go back here. We've got everything set right here. So we want 1,700 out of 1,700, and that's when we make this turn. All right, and then it's up to 11,000. 11,000 is what we filed for. We're going east, and we're ready to go. Medford ground 0768 Foxtrot Sierra, ready to taxi.
Number 768 Foxtrot Sierra, Medford ground, runway 14, taxi via Alpha.
14 via Alpha, 8 Foxtrot Sierra, thank you. Alright, so let's go back to our binders here. Let's go to Medford here. Where is Medford? There is our airport. Alright, so let's blow that one up here. Let's get this closed. Alright, 14 we're going to go. So let me put that up here. We want to go out here. And I'll just put our iPad up there so you can see it. And we're going to go out to Bravo here. And let's take a look to the left and see if we can find this and get going. All right, our brake is off. And let's get rolling. Oops, let's go over here. Hang on, tough guy. Let's get on our... There's Bravo, I believe. Runway 14. Okay, let's get out here to Bravo 3. I think that's Bravo over there. Yeah. There's Bravo. I believe this is Bravo over here. Come on. Oh, he wants me to be Alpha. Okay, that's what I got screwed up. Okay, we're on Alpha now. All right, thank you. Okay, let's get off of, we're on there right now. You can follow our progress on the, okay, let's go back to our flight plan, our checklist here. We're going to skip over a couple of these. We're going to got our starting engines all good. We're before taxi, flaps are up, avionics are set, taxiing parking brake is off, brakes HSI orientation is good, turn coordinator is working properly. Okay, we're all great there. Okay, we're going down to 14. All right. All right, here we are. So we got it all sorted out now with the help of our iPad. Okay, our caps handle is good. Seatbelt and shoulder harnesses are secure. Fuel quantity at 60. Fuel selector is good. Fuel pump is all good. Mixture is full forward as required. Let's get our flaps down. We got 50 on the flaps. Transponder is set. We'll check the autopilot in the run up here. So let's just keep our eyes down the runway now, like a drunk pilot going down here. Let's get it together. Hello, Justin and Eduardo. Okay, now we got it going here. The sim is very helpful, man, in getting familiar with these departure procedures. So I'll note it here what this one is. I'll print it up. I'll review it again, make sure I got it 100% cold in my head here. We'll actually review it again before we pull the trigger and take off here. Now this leg of the flight's about 2 hours. So we'll speed it up, and I don't expect all of you to stay with me the whole time, but I'm going to do this flight tonight because I'm hell-bent to do every leg of the flight at least once. We did a procedure last night that we wouldn't be allowed to do, which is an RNP approach. You can see in X-Plane that what we've got on the iPad is different than what we're seeing right in front of us here. All right, so we're closing in on the run-up area here. Let's see if we can find it up here. Okay, we're right down there, and it looks like we got a little kick out here to the left, where we'll do our run-up. Okay, there we are, right about to the end here. So we'll just get off to the side over here and do a quick run-up. Try to stay out of everybody's way here, and then we're going to go right here. Okay, let's put our brake on. Let's go up close on our page here. Let's go engines. And let's take her up and do our pre-flight. Okay, let's go to 1700 RPMs. There's 17 and change, a little sensitive there. Okay. Okay, let's put check our electrical. Okay, we've got navs, we've got strobes, we've got landing light, makes it move a little bit. ICE gets Alt 1 moving a bit further. Pitot heat will move alternator 2 pretty darn good. Let's check our mags now. Our left mag is a drop of 60. EGTs are rising, that's good. Let's go right mag. It's a drop of 30. EGTs are rising, that is good. And let's pull it back to 1000 here. All right, and go back to our flight plan here. Flight plan, checklist. Okay, autopilot. Let's check our autopilot right now. Let's move our heading over to the right here. And let's go autopilot. And then let's hit heading. And the stick should start moving. The flight director starts moving, as you can see right there. If we move it further, it'll keep going. Okay, that's all good. Get rid of heading mode. Let's go to our toga button right here. There's our toga moving back up. Okay, cabin heat defrost good. Power levers all good. We checked all that. Voltage is good. Landing lights are good. Magnetos are good. Let's get the pitot off, ICE off. We don't need those. Let's go check our flight controls. Let's go outside the plane. Left is up, right is down. All the surfaces are moving freely. Let's go check our trim inside the plane. Let's pull it back. There's our trim mode right there. Autopilot is disconnected, and we know how to do a takeoff, so let's go to our climb checklist right there, and we'll set that. And then we will go back to our flight plan and take one last look at that departure. So we're going to go on runway 14, then I'm going to put in 330. 333 is our heading from MEF. So we're going to go to 1,735 feet, and then we're going to start that turn here. Okay, our takeoff briefing here. The airport elevation here at Medford is 1,292 or 1,294 feet. So our caps available is going to be 1894. Our best caps is 3294. If we have an issue on the runway before we get to 1894, we're going to pull the power, hit the brakes, and abort the takeoff. If we have an engine issue before we get to that 1834, and if there's no runway to use, we're going to pitch for 92, mixture off, or mixture back, tanks off, ignition off, and we're going to land straight ahead. If we have an engine issue between the 1894 and 3294, we're going to pull the parachute, we're going to mixture off, tanks off, ignition off, and float straight ahead. Beyond that, we should have an opportunity to come back to the airport here. Okay, that is our takeoff briefing, and I think we're ready to go. So let's pull up to the hold short line and take care of this and get going. Alrighty, let's get rid of our brake here. Let's pull up and do it. And we we'll switch over to COM 1 now. Okay. Climbing, let me take a look at that departure one more time. Okay, we're going to make a climbing. Okay, come on. It's a climbing right turn, direct MEF, depart. Okay, so direct MEF. All right. 1,734 feet. All right, let's do it. Medford Tower, Sierra 768, Foxtrot Sierra, holding short, runway 14, ready for takeoff.
768 Foxtrot, Medford Tower, runway 17, correction, runway 14, clear for takeoff.
Runway 14, clear for takeoff, 8 Foxtrot Sierra, thank you. Okay, trim, flaps, mixture, boost, we're all good there. Okay, so there we are. Okay, at 1,735 feet, we're gonna make we're gonna go to nav and autopilot, and then let this baby fly. Okay, so let's take a look at that. Departure, we're on runway. Let's get rid of nav. Profile gone. Let's take a look at this. We're on runway 14. And we're coming back around to MEF, climbing right turn. Okay, let's do it. Let's go to our flight plan. Let's come up top here. All right, we're ready to roll. Okay, let's give it some juice. And 1,735 feet is the number we're looking for. 1,834 is our caps available. Let's give it some rudder here. Okay, everything's alive, speed's alive, down the runway. Yeah, we're up and out of here. Okay. Trim it down a little bit. There's our flaps up, 1,735, and then we're going to go to nav, and then keep her over the runway, Steve. Let's go flight level change there. Okay, we're looking for 1,735. There's 1,735. Okay, now we're going to 11,000. We're going to go to nav, autopilot. Flight level change is in. Let's go up top here. See, there we go. Okay, we're swinging back around. Okay, we're going up to 11,000 here. Swinging back around.
The 768 Foxtrot Sierra, contact Cascade departure.
Contact Cascade departure, 8 Foxtrot Sierra, thank you. Cascade departure, Sierra 768, Foxtrot Sierra 3,000, climbing 11, 11,000.
768 Foxtrot Sierra, Cascade departure at our contact.
Okay, we're circling back over the airport. Oops, let's get it through here. Okay, we're circling back over the airport right now. Let's come up close on the MFE. We're heading back to MEF, Mike Echo Foxtrot right now. Okay, we want to follow this departure all the way to Talem and then direct Fort Jones. All right. Now we are heading to Brute. All right, gents. Hello, Eduardo and Justin. I see we've got about 14 viewers on right now. That's great. Once we get on course here, we'll take a minute and say hello to everybody. Okay, right now you can see we're heading direct to Brute. There we're heading direct Brute. There you see it. There's what it looks like on the iPad. Heading direct Brute. And then from Brute, we're going to go to Lanks. And then we're going to head direct to Talem. Or back to Talem. And then we're going to go direct Fort Jones. Okay. Interesting little departure there. Put it on mute there. Sorry, guys. Where are we flying at? We're flying to Paso Robles, California. This is would be at the last day of our flight across the U.S. with my wife that we're going to start here on May 15th. And on this particular trip, we're going to have a guest with us by the name of, his name is Mr. Cooper LeComte. He's the gentleman that designed this wonderful SR-22 flight model. It's a turbo normal. It's a G3 turbo normalized. It's done by a company called Torque Sim, and it's been a game changer for me on my sim setup here. I'm flying it tonight on my home sim setup. This is a real sim gear stuff here. Real sim gear up here. Real sim gear Cirrus console. Noble Flight Sim stick right here. And coming tomorrow, a Noble Flight Sim throttle quadrant, which will replace this Logitech one that I have right now. Okay, so let's come back in the cockpit so you can see where we're going. And so right now, we'll go out the front right here, and I'll show you the iPad so you can see where we're going on the iPad. We are heading now from Lanks to Talem, and then we'll go Fort Jones, and then we'll be on course, and then we can go. I presume you guys can hear me now. That's a thumbs up. Let's go back over here at Cockpit Direct. All right. Okay, so we are now at 11,000. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull back my power to 29-ish. I'm going to pull back my mixture here. Let's come back in here close up. I'm pulling back my mixture. We're going to lean it up here a little bit tonight. I want about 70-75%. And that's pretty darn close, 15.9, so that's looking good. Our engine temps, the CHTs are looking good. EGTs and TITs are looking good. We're at 11,000 now. Let's go through that checklist here. Oxygen was good. Power lever, all that was good. Okay, we're now at our cruise. Let's go up to cruise. Okay, oxygen is not required here at 11. Fuel pump is automatically set for me and my Cirrus to on all the time. Cruise power set, mixers required. We're going a little bit lean here to keep those temps down. Fuel flow and balance is good. We're going about 16 gallons. We could probably even get a hair lower. Yeah, let's try that one out there, and we're good to go. And then we're done there. And the next checklist will be our descent checklist. That won't be for a while here. And we are looking good. Back up top here. All right, thank you, Kevin. How many of you guys, anybody here, I know Eduardo Fonseca, I believe, if my memory serves me well, is waiting for a Cirrus. Is that right, Eduardo? I have the right guy here. Interested to see how many folks here are actual pilots versus X-Plane simmers. Don't be so shy here. All right, let's go back inside for just a second. See how we're doing here. Everything's looking good right now. We've got pitot heat required. There's no clouds up here, so I'm just going to push the caution, push the button, and save the electricity. Outside temperatures are not that low either. Let's go ahead and sync up our heading right there. Get that all set. Pitot required, but we're not going to deal with that. Okay, beautiful. Okay, once we get... How come we're not going to Talem now here? Let me go on the map here. All right, we're Jaden to Tandy right now, or Handy, I should say. Now we're Handy, Lippo, and then Talem. So we got a little left turn coming up here. Gentlemen, I'm going to dip out of here for 1 second and head back into the cabin, speak with some of the passengers. Actually, I'm like real SR 22 pilot and HPN. Great stuff. Mike, nice to have you here. All right, folks, I'm going to ditch out of here for 1 second. and go load up my water bottle here. So bear with me, and I'll be back, and let me tell the controller I'm taking off for 1 second here. Cascade departure 0768 Foxtrot Sierra at 11,000. I'm going to be off frequency for about 2 minutes here.
Roger, that's approved. We're back.
Okay, I am back. All right, Torque Sim SR20 G3 and XP11. All right, good stuff. Next 433. Let me tell our Cascade I'm back here. Cascade approach 0768 Foxtrot Sierra, back with you.
768 Foxtrot Sierra, roger.
Okay, now we are heading to Fort Jones here. Directing, we are now on our course here. All good stuff. Okay. Now in the real world here, I filed for 11,000, and I think on a flight like this, given the fact that the plane will go higher, we've got oxygen, it's a clear day. I would probably throw on the cannulas here and go up to 15,000, just because I want to be as high over that stuff as I can.
Foxtrot Sierra, contact Seattle Center 124, correction, 121.4.
1214 Seattle Center, 8 Foxtrot Sierra, thank you. Okay, let's go 121.4, let's switch it over. Seattle Center, Sierra 768 Foxtrot Sierra, level 11, 11,000.
768 Foxtrot Sierra, Seattle, the Medford altimeter 3003.
3003 for Medford, 8 Foxtrot Sierra, thank you. Okay, so let's see if we can. I'm gonna get the chat up here. No, wrong hat. Okay, let's go back in the cockpit here. A couple questions from the chat, Mr. MCI. How does it compare to the real SR20? Oh, you're talking an X433, I guess, because this is an SR22 right here, turbo. All right, so here's what I'm going to do, sports fans. I'm going to speed up a little bit. So I'm going to ask the controller here if we can speed up to 4 times so we're not sitting here all night. So let's do that. Seattle Center, Sierra 768 Foxtrot Sierra. Can I increase my X-plane speed 4 times?
Number 8 Foxtrot Sierra, it's approved for the next 50 miles.
Next 50 miles, 8 Foxtrot Sierra, thank you. Okay, so we want just past Jones. Okay, we're going to speed up, folks. Fasten your seatbelts. All right, love that. Wish we could do that in a real plane here. Okay. Next 50 miles. I'm going to burn off these and then 18 in the next one. Okay. There you get a little look at how we're doing here, our progress. There's Fort Jones. There's so many great features in this new version of ForeFlight. I have the performance version here. They've got a new taxi route planner that helps you maneuver around the airports, which is very helpful just on that last one there at Medford, where the runways and taxiways are a bit confusing. They now have down here at the bottom underneath the Fort Jones, you can see there, kind of a legend on all of the weather stuff. Let's put the weather over. Actually, we do have the weather overlay going right now. It's just clear. I hope it's like this when we're flying home. That would be wonderful. Get rid of that iPad here. It's a pretty view right there. A little too close for comfort for me down there, I gotta tell you. I like having as much air underneath me as possible. There's an old pilot guy at the golf club I play at who told me he'd flown back in World War II, and crusty old guy, but a terrific guy, who said every bit of air that you can get to above you is wasted. And I used to like flying lower to the ground, but I kind of agree with the colonel. If you can get to it, go for it. All right, let's go back into the cockpit here, see how we're doing. We're at 11,000. He said we've got 50 miles, so we'll go 10 miles into the next waypoint there. Looking left, we got nothing but mountains. Looking right, we got nothing. Well, we got a little bit of a ditch out over there. If something crazy happened, we could circle around over there. Let's go check our nearest airports here and see. Let's go back. Let's go nearest. See what we've got airport-wise here. We got 3,600 foot runway, 28. A lot of farm stuff, it looks like. Okay, so we went 10 miles into this leg right here, 44.7, so we'll get down to about 30, and then we'll go back to our... Okay, now we are heading... Let's go to the map here. We're heading to Folds, all right? So let's go back and get back to normal speed here and tell him we're back with him. Seattle Center, Sierra 768, Foxtrot Sierra, back with you at 11,000 in normal speed.
Right, Foxtrot Sierra, contact Oakland Center 132.2.
132 for Oakland Center, 8 Foxtrot Sierra. That's 132.2 I meant.
That's right, 32.2 for Oakland Center.
32.2 for Oakland. Oakland Center, Sierra 768, Foxtrot Sierra, level 11, 11,000.
768 Foxtrot Sierra, Oakland Center, roger.
All right, so we're heading now toward Folds. Let's see if we can get some approval to go faster here. Oakland Center, Sierra 768, Foxtrot Sierra, request approval for 4 times X-plane speed.
765. Foxtrot Sierra, that's approved for the next 230 miles.
Next 230 miles. Okay, great. 8 Foxtrot Sierra, thank you. Okay, so we got her speeding up here. Let's take a few questions from the chat. Let's just see if we can get Cockpit chat in there, and there it is. Okay, so JP Hayes, hey, how you doing? Talking about you this morning with the wife. We're going to try to make a stop in near El Paso and meet you in person. JP Hayes, one of my golfing Cirrus buddies. Kevin Remillard says, looking to start my PPLQ1 2000. What did you fly during your PPL training? I started on a little plane called a Sport Cruiser, which was an experimental plane from Santa Monica Flyers in in California here. And I'm going to switch over our tanks to the other left tank there. And shortly after I started, Kevin, I decided to buy my first plane before I had my private pilot license, and it was an experimental plane called a Sling 4. It was a 4-seater, cool plane, had a Garmin G3X display in it with the checklist and all the stuff. It's very similar to my Cirrus, and it had a number of steam gauges in it. By the time I sold it, it looked a lot like a Mutant Cirrus SR22. There's no digital instruments left, and I had a picture up I kept showing to my avionics guy of the Gen 6 cockpit, and I said I want it to look like that. And so shortly thereafter, shortly after I got my private pilot license, or my IFR license, I got my PPL and then I got my IFR, and shortly after I got my IFR, my wife and I bought our Cirrus, and I've been one of the best decisions we ever made. So that's what I was flying ahead of time. So good luck on your private pilot, and once you get that one done and you get comfortable, I would recommend you take it up a notch to IFR, and that's the difference for your golfers out there. That's the difference between being a 12 handicap and being a scratch player, or a low handicapper for sure. How does the Torque Sim SR22 normalized compared to the real SR22? Pretty darn good, actually. I have a different engine. This is the engine in this particular model is a turbo normalized engine, and I'm not sure I understand what that is, but we have a Continental IO 550 turbo in our Gen 6. So that said, I'll go up here close on the engine instruments here. Okay, I'm going to pull it back a little bit on the mixture here because the temps are getting a little bit hotter. I'm going to pull it back. The numbers are actually scarily close, to be honest with you. Mr. Mike production there. And that's what I found really blew my mind here on this SR22 Torque Sim model. The flight model, which was done by this young guy named Cooper LeCompte, who's from Seattle, Washington, who will be joining us on this flight from Seattle down to Los Angeles. He's the one that designed all the avionics. There was a gentleman, a partner of his in Germany, a guy named Marius Bunn, another college student. Both these guys are in college. They do this part-time. And he's the one that put together all these engine instrument stuff, which is just fantastic stuff. And the accuracy of it is pretty amazing, actually. You see right there where I pulled back the mixture just a little bit, and sure enough, the CHTs went down, the TITs went down, and it's just amazing here, right, to me. Michael Della Fontaine, I hope I pronounced that right, said, did you try the Carenado? I did try the Carenado, and for me the Carenado was like a pretty girl with no brains. Nice to look at, but when we actually had to start talking, it was a little bit more makeup than real when all said and done, because I couldn't do any of my IFR procedures, and not to be flip about it. And for me, this whole setup I have here, if you just got here, there's my setup at home. This is getting pretty darn close to being like flying in my cockpit. So having a flight model that actually replicated that was what was most important for me. And I couldn't fly even the most basic stuff in the Carenado. You couldn't twist the dials, you couldn't do anything, and none of the equipment that I had, the Real Sim Gear stuff worked with it. So when Real Sim Gear put together a deal with these Torque Sim kids, I think that was a game changer. Said, what X-Plane version of the 22 do you have? This is a Torque Sim SR22 turbo normalized G3. That's what this is, Michael. see if there's any other questions in there. Okay, so that's some questions there for the moment. So we'll come back over here. If you have any more questions, let me know, folks. Okay, it's nice. This is fun. My wife kids me about coming out here like a 16-year-old and flying on my sim. Typically, my oldest son, who's been here at the house with us during this whole COVID kerfuffle, has been over in the other side of the office, playing Call of Duty with his buddies online. But anyway, this is kind of fun, being able to talk shop while I'm getting a little practice with my sim setup here. Now this is one of my favorite sites, gentlemen. Flat, lots of flat, which we're now kind of over the we're not in California, I don't think, but we're kind of in that central. No, we're not in California yet. We're in Oregon. I like looking down and seeing flat. Love the mountains, but I like to see them from a distance. All right, so we're cranking along here. We're going to get down to gongs here in a second. I'll flip the iPad up there so you can give a little progress there. See where we're doing. Again, I don't know how many of you guys use ForeFlight, but God, they have so many great tools in this program. I don't know if you can see it, but all the little airways that are cleverly marked, the minimum altitudes, nicely, easily marked, all the restricted areas, with the restricted altitudes, easily visible and marked. You'll notice that I've been scouting fuel prices here, if you look on the iPad there, as I plan out our trip here. Some of the fuel prices at these FBOs are just off the charts, almost criminal if you ask me. Are you visiting the Northeast New York City during your upcoming trip? Michael, we are actually visiting the East Coast. We're going to be heading first to, we'll stop somewhere in Texas after the first day. Probably Lubbock, Texas. I'm going to go down and good friend and golfing buddy and musician buddy, a guy by the name of Mac Davis, who died recently. He was from Lubbock, Texas. There's a street down there named Mac Davis Lane that I was going to go and fly by last year on the way to Oshkosh. That didn't happen, and so I never got to take that picture under Mac Davis Lane while he was alive. So I think I'm going to go back and just for yucks, because some of my buddies back at our golf club would enjoy that. Then we're going to head to Knoxville, Tennessee. I'm going to stop in and see some of the friends I've made there at Cirrus Aircraft. I know some of you guys have been there. My friend JP Hayes, who was here watching a little bit earlier, picked up a brand new Cirrus back there. Had a great story. They a minor technical problem with his Cirrus SR22 Turbo, and they felt so bad about it that they let him fly home in a Vision jet. So if you're still here, JP, I'm still jealous as heck. From there, Michael, we're going to go to Hilton Head Island for a couple days. We're going to play a little golf there, and then we're going to head up the coast, stop in Charlottesville, Virginia, to say hello to a friend of mine, a golfing buddy. And from there up to Long Island, where we'll be for about 4 or 5 days. I plan on doing some flying there. My wife and I are going to take that little cruise up the Hudson River, which would be nice. Going to fly up to up to Kennebunkport, Maine, Nantucket Island. Going to meet some other folks, a gentleman, pilot buddy, Austin Fang, if you folks are in the sim world. He's one of the partners in Noble Flight Sims. Now a brand new Cirrus pilot as well. He was just back there in Knoxville, Tennessee, getting his Cirrus, picking it up, and his call letters is 88FU, which is easy to remember. And and then we're going to head back west, through Cleveland to go see my brother. Then a couple of days in Jacksonville, then Seattle and then back home. And so that I'm practicing the end of our trip right now here. Visit performance flight in HPN, largest Cirrus fleet here. Golf courses around. Is HPN, is that? I think HPN, I actually will be coming to HPN because I'm playing golf with a couple guys at a place called Ardsley Country Club. So I think I'm going to be landing at HPN. And I think HPN is the home airport of a YouTuber by the name of Citation Max, who, great guy, great young guy, who's flown a bunch of planes, starting with a Cirrus SR-22, I think it was just a regular SR-22, and then got a Vision jet, and then got some kind of Cessna jet, and then another one, and now he's on the third jet. Really terrific pilot, and has been very helpful. He was kind of familiarizing me with all the procedures and frequencies and so forth that I'll have to deal with along that Hudson River, Manhattan skyline run. So great guy, really another example of how this whole pilot community is a bunch of great guys. So are you based there, Michael, at HPN? Michael De La Fontaine? All right, let's come inside the cockpit and see how we're doing on everything. Temps are good. Fuel is good. Everything's looking good at the moment. Okay, back in the cockpit here. So you just did the Hudson Corridor, Michael. Great. It's funny. I've spent so much time in my business career. Retired now, but spent a lot of time in the music business, and spent a lot of time walking in Manhattan over the years, and watching the planes and helicopters fly down the Hudson. Didn't think I'd ever be one of them, but now I am. So it's kind of fun. All right, so we're making good time here on the way to Paso Robles. We're not really at Sacramento yet. I'm going to take a little sip here, Jen. Excuse me. One of my big concerns on this upcoming trip here across the country is watching all the nasty weather that's been out there the last few days. I hope we don't get any of that, or we'll be parking somewhere safe and sitting in a hotel room waiting, because I have no desire to go tackle some of that nasty weather that's been out there. All right, so I think he said 230 miles, so I think we will get past Sacramento here and then just check in with him once we get to Sacto. Well, Michael, maybe I'll get lucky and catch you out there at HPN. And it's funny, this young kid, Citation Max, did a video that he sent me a link to of him flying, or going back and flying a Cirrus up and down the corridor there, and it was really instructive. And one of the great tools for some of you folks that are really learning how to fly, that gentleman who was just getting his PPL, there's lots of great videos out there, and some very competent pilots that are great examples of all the right things to do when you're flying. And that kid Max is really good, and so that video of him flying down the corridor is on my playlist, and I'll be watching that one a couple more times before I try that one on for size. We'll likely try it on the way from Charlottesville to Manhattan. Okay, so now we're heading from Sacramento to Modesto, so I'm going to slow us down a little bit and just check in with our controller here and make sure we're all good. Seattle Center, Sierra 768 Foxtrot here with you at 11,000 and normal speed again.
Emirates Factory Sierra, Oakland Center, Roger.
When's that next frequency change, Oakland Center, 8 Foxtrot here?
About 30 miles from your position, and it'll be a quick sequence of them to North California.
Yeah, gotcha, 30 miles. Okay, thank you, 8 Foxtrot here. Okay, so let's come up close here. It looks like we got 53 miles to go. All right, nice meeting you, Michael De La Fontaine. And yeah, it is late there, 10:30. Thanks for. I'm sorry about that. Nice to see you again, Michael, or nice to meet you here. Get some sleep. I'll be doing the same here not too long from now. And hope to meet you one day. So, all right, back in here. We got, let's go speed up just a little bit. He said 30 miles, so let's get speeding up. Okay, now we are getting into the Central Valley here of California. Big agricultural area here. Lots of flat. And God forbid I ever had to yank that parachute, but if I did, this would be an area that I wouldn't mind setting it down there. Lots of grass. And get lucky. Land there, get out of the plane and pick some strawberries or something. All right, this is the kind of what they say, it's 10 minutes of excitement in every flight and then 2 hours of boring. And I'm okay with boring when you're flying. When I was taking my transition training back in Knoxville, Tennessee, where we started, then in Pinehurst with a gentleman by the name of Ed Waters, who's a terrific Cirrus, platinum C-SIP. He told me, Ren, your goal in golf and in flying is to be boringly consistent. And I think he was right about that. I don't know if J.P. Hayes is still here. He might disagree on the boring side of golf. It makes some birdies a little bit more exciting. But as a pilot, he wanted to make it nice and boring. He said, fly like an airline pilot. Everything's smooth. Nothing to scare anybody. All right, so we were back here. Let's go and call up, slow down a bit here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and call our friends over at Seattle Center, Sierra 768 Foxtrot Sierra, back with you at 11,000.
Foxtrot Sierra, Oakland Center, contact NorCal 120.905.
124.958 Foxtrot Sierra.
20.905, 2095.
12095. You're Oakland there, NorCal. Got it. 8 Foxtrot Sierra. Thank you. NorCal approach Sierra 768 Foxtrot Sierra, level 11,000.
768 Foxtrot Sierra, NorCal approach the Reno altimeter 29er and 908.
29er 908 for Reno, 8 Foxtrot Sierra, thank you. Okay, at this point here, I'm going to go back to my flight plan over here and get some information here and start loading my frequencies for Paso Robles. So I'm going to go down here on COM2. I'm going to dial in 120-125, which is our ATIS for Paso Robles. Paso Robles is an airport I've flown into a bunch of times. It's a non-towered airport. That's 123.0. Hang on to that thought there for a second, Jonathan. I'm going to fill you in on something here. Okay, so those are all set now, and I'm going to put COM2 to monitor I'm going to just go down here and show you what I've done. I'm monitoring COM2 for it, and when it starts picking up betas, then I'll know to pay attention here a little bit. Okay, so back up top here, let's go to our cockpit chat here. Fairways and greens still there, Jay. Yeah, by the way, it never bothered me. Hit a lot of fairways and greens today, JP, and hit a ton of great putts. Nothing went in today at Bel Air, and that got me a nice 80 and lightened my pocket considerably. Anyway, which the G1000 modeled my NXI better. I don't know if you can see here. I've got these little things on the side that I blocked out. These are just G1000 screens. So I, in my obsessive, compulsive, desire to have everything exactly the way I'll see it in the plane, I put these black things on here to black out the buttons that wouldn't be on my PFD and MFD and the Cirrus plane here, right? This little thing you see right here is a replica now. See if I can get in it. This is a replica of the G6 GCU unit, and so when I first got this real sim gear set up here, when I first got this, it was based on the G3 G5 setup, but they put this one together, so now my hands are doing exactly what I would do in the Cirrus Gen 6. So FYI.
Junction 7 departure, Metavector, correction, pace transition. As filed, climb via SID, except contain 14,000. Departure frequency is Denver departure 119.7, squawk 5135.
November 82 from Paso Robles CA Airport, Junction 7 departure, paces transition is filed, climb via SID, except maintain 14,000. Departure frequency is Denver 119.7 and squawk 5135.
3 uniform Papa, read that correct?
Okay. Now, one thing that you can do in the Cirrus is you go to flight plan here, and for all the G6 guys don't know what I'm talking about. If you pull down to Paso Robles here, for example, I could hit my enter button. It would take me to a waypoint information page that has all kinds of stuff, including a little preview of the weather that's coming. Since I can't do that here on the Cirrus, what I'll do is I'm going to just kind of cheat on the iPad. So let me just show you what we got on the iPad here. And you can see right here we've got the weather at Paso Robles is 210 at 8 knots. Not bad, clear, so that's all good. So if I look up here on the runway tab, I'll see that I got runway 01 and 19. 19 looks like our best bet, best win right there, and that's a big wide runway. It's 150 feet, so gives you a lot of room in the fairway there, JP, and so that's my kind of runway. So I'm going to load the approach for 19 and see how that looks. So let's go to our up close on our PFD or MFD. We're going to go procedure. We're going to go up to approach here. We're going to load GPS LPV. That's the one we want here. And let's go pull up that plate over here. I'm going to go to Paso Robles. Let's go to our other binder here. All right. Plates. Let's go KPRB. We want runway 19 GPS. I'm doing all of this over on my iPad here, folks. And I've got the 19 GPS there set up, and now we want to come in. We're coming from the north, so we want, looks like we want Fictu, or actually Mabari is probably a better one for us, so let's get Mabari is our transition, okay, and the minimums is going to be 1062. Let's give it 1070, load it. Okay, so now that baby's loaded. I'm going to go back over here on my iPad. Let's come back up here so you can see here. I'm going to throw the iPad up there so you can see what I'm doing here. What I like to do is keep my iPad and my MFD and everything in sync. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to load the we want the GPS approach to 9. And what did I say? We wanted Mubari. It looks like Mubari or Fictu. It looks like it's going to be. I think Mubari probably makes more sense, but we can always change that. And so now I've got that one synced up, and God forbid this all went wrong. I've got my iPad in ForeFlight to hopefully save the day here. Okay, so now I'm all set. We're at 37 minutes, and I got about 15-20 minutes before a couple of my favorite TV shows start. So I'm going to ask him if we can speed up a bit after I get a sink of water. All right. I've never been in a beach baron, Jonathan, but there's a whole bunch of them out of Santa Monica Airport, so I see them around all the time. But I think I probably got my last plane right here, which is the Cirrus. All right, so we've got 110 miles to PRB.
By the tower, request taxi information Bravo. Retreat uniform come to Grand Junction ground, runway 29er, taxi via Alpha, hold short, runway 22. Runway 29 via Alpha, hold short, runway 22, November 8, retreat uniform Papa.
NorCal approach 0768 Foxtrot Sierra at 11,000. Will I get one more frequency change before I get in the terminal area at Paso Robles?
November 8 Foxtrot Sierra, most likely 2 frequency changes, one to another NorCal section and one to another Oakland Center section.
Okay, because I was looking to speed up just a bit. How many miles can I get at 4 times?
50 miles.
50 miles it is, speeding to 4 times 8 Foxtrot Sierra, thank you. We're at 107. All right, folks, try to get you to your, what do I like to watch? Tonight, we got FBI on. I love all those Dick Wolf shows, and then FBI Most Wanted on before that. So those are 2 of my favorites. Love all those Dick Wolf shows. Okay, let's get our heading synced up here. We're at 108 miles, so I'm going to go to 58. I watched your LNAV lesson in Monterey earlier today. Great watching lesson on planning vertical path. Yeah, that's another one of my favorite airports to fly into, one of my favorite areas in the world. Pebble Beach, some of the greatest golf in the world up there in Monterey. I'm sure our pilot friend JP Hayes has spent some time on the grass up there at Monterey. Best finish up there, JP? Okay, so I'm going to start briefing this approach here. Mubari is going to be my initial approach fix, and that's at, they'll give us an assigned altitude. Then our final approach fix is going to be Jerbu, Jerbu, and we need to be at 2,700 feet there. Our field elevation here in Paso Robles is 839 feet. Pattern would be 1839. The minimums here, I think we said, was 1,062 feet. Our missed approach is going to be climb 1,300, 1,300. then climbing left turn to 4,500. Direct Jebno. Direct Jebno. And hold. Okay, great. Fifth, that's good plan, JP. That's some great golf courses up there in the JP. If I could pick a place to live the rest of my life, it would probably be up there at Carmel. Might be the place I'd hope it doesn't happen anytime soon, but I wouldn't mind taking my last breath up there either. So let's slow down and talk to controller here. NoCal approach 0768 Foxtrot Sierra back with you at 11,000 normal speed.
3 Foxtrot Sierra, contact Oakland Center 12.7.
1287 for Oakland, 8 Foxtrot Sierra.
Lincoln Junction, Tower November 833 Uniform Papa, short of 22, ready to departure. 833 Uniform Papa, Crane Junction Tower, proceed on runway 22, runway 29 are cleared for takeoff. I'll be on runway 22, runway 29 and cleared for takeoff, November 833 Uniform Papa.
Oakland Center, Sierra 768 Foxtrot Sierra, level 11,000.
768 Foxtrot Sierra, Oakland Center, traffic 11 o'clock, 3 miles northwestbound. Altitude indicates 10,600, VFR type unknown. Do you have an approach request for Paso Robles?
I do. I'd like to do the GPS approach runway 19, transitioning at Mabari.
Foxtrot Sierra, Roger, proceed direct Mabari.
Direct Mabari, 8 Foxtrot Sierra, thank you very much. Direct, enter. Okay, so now we're heading to Navarre, so the approach is now activated. That doesn't happen very often in Southern California. Once we get down near LA, you never get a direct to. You're always vectored around. But one of the things I've noticed when we did our first trip across the country is all that IFR training you did going direct and going to the initial approach fix actually happens. So that was kind of fun, makes things a lot easier. Now here's what I'm going to do here, and I'm in the middle of putting together a video of the approach and landing at Bakersfield. I posted a video of my wife on the radios this past week. There's a whole conflict I had with arrival and departure, or arrival and an approach sequence that included duplicate waypoints. So what I'm learning to do is get rid of waypoints that you don't need here. So we're going to Mabari here. Let's make sure it's not going to be an issue right here. We won't be going back to Paso Robles now because we're going direct Mabari. But you got to really be careful and make sure that you've got rid of duplicate waypoints, particularly when you're transiting from an arrival to an approach procedure. And I have a little kerfuffle in there that I'll put together in a video and show you what not to do here. So we're all set here. The missed approach is all set. We're going, so we need 6,900 feet at Mabari. So I'm going to see, hang on, clear. Okay, I'm going to go over and I'm going to put in 6,900 here is vertical reference there. Now I've got a time to top of descent. So for me, one of the things I like to do to really use the full capabilities of the Perspective system is use this VNAV profile. And I find it to be a very powerful tool for me in the cockpit there. And so I've got it set up right now. And he'll be sending me down here shortly. And then I can use the vertical.
Oakland Center, hello, Earth 380, flight level 300.
380, Roger.
You know, Jonathan, I didn't know you could actually put in the missed approach in 4 flights. JP, sorry, third. I would think that you remember that third. That's big. What great golf courses up there. What year did you finish third, JP? I was looking at some of that prize money, JP, for these guys at the Masters, and God, you finish top 10. You make more money than Jack Nicklaus and you guys ever won in a tournament.
Radar contact.
Okay, so we're coming up. Let's go direct Mabari here now. Direct to. So now I've synced up my iPad so that I'm going direct Mabari, and I love it the way it paints that. How come I didn't get direct? Okay. Oh, I didn't put in the procedure here. Approach. GPS 9. Mabari. There we go. Let's go Mabari. Direct 2. Okay, let's get rid of this stuff. What's going on here? Something's gone screwy with that. Okay, my iPad has gone wacky here, so let me get that out of the picture and fix it here.
Right, Foxtrot's here. Cross Mbari at 7,500. You cleared RNAV runway 19er. Approach Paso Robles Airport.
Mabari at or above 7,500 cleared for the RNAV 19 at Paso Robles. Thank you. 8 Foxtrots here. Okay, so let's go back up to our flight plan here. We're going to make that 7,500 now.
Uniform contact with Denver.
Enter. Okay, so now I've set 7,500. So let me go up and do the thing. So I've plugged it in there. I've built it. Now I'm going to bug it 7,500 on my altitude select, but what I'm going to do is actually put in 2,700,
9,500 climbing along 4,000 Taviagra Junction 7.
which is my final approach fix. And then I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to arm my VNAV here, and come back up top. Now sometimes this has not worked properly, so I'm going to keep an eye on it. And our time to top of descent now is 3 minutes, 3 minutes we'll call it. So I'm going to monitor that. I'm also seeing that I've got our weather now is 210, winds 11 knots, visibility is 10, that's good. Altimeter 2985 for Paso Robles, so let's go set 2985 here on the altimeter. That's all set now. We've got our minimums in. We've got our altimeter set. We've got our altitude restriction at Mabari set, 7,500. I've got 2,700, which is our final approach fix set over here. So our first VNAV reference is going to be 75. We got 2 minutes and 3 seconds to our top of descent. Question: a few weeks away from my private pilot check, right? Will I go straight into instrument training? You could. I might just fly around in that PPL a little bit, get some solo experience in there, Neil. Get used to flying just you know. Because the IFR is really intense and it requires that you really be comfortable with your airplane. And I thought I was comfortable with my airplane. You know, that when I started my IFR training, that rattled my cage big time. 1993 round and final, right? 8 months apart. Oh, I remember that. JP. That was some ugly weather up there. Was that the same year, 98, they washed out in LA Open as well? Okay, I see what you're doing, Jonathan, just putting in the fixes. No, I think in my Cirrus, I can update the MFD and it'll reverse it back to the four flight and vice versa. So I wouldn't have to do that. But the reason I like to keep my iPad and my Perspective Plus system in sync is because shit happens, things go wrong, and so I want to be prepared that when all this great avionics that you see here decides not to work one day, I don't want to be paralyzed with fear. I want to know that I can quickly go back to my iPad, get my flight ready to go, and fly this baby in here, right? So you see on my iPad right now, Cockpit iPad right there, you see all of those fixes are now in there, okay? And they've got the iPad overlay there of the approach plate. So I've got everything I need there. And if I scroll up here, I'm going direct Mabari, which you can see. I think you can see Mabari right there. And then I believe you'll be able to see that there's altitude restrictions are also printed on. So it's great situational awareness to have. And I use it chronically. It's just, I think it's one of the great tools I've seen. And now we've got bottom of descent, and the plane is actually descending on the V path now while I was yapping. It's doing exactly what it should do. Now I'm going to do exactly what I should do, which is pull back a little bit of power here.
685 here. No traffic observed between you and the Paso Robles Airport. Report your IFR cancellation. Missed approach in the air. This frequency, you're on the ground via 122.2 within 5 minutes of landing. Change to advisory frequencies approved.
Change to advisory frequencies approved. I'll cancel IFR right now. 85 knots here.
85 here. IFR cancellation received. Squawk VFR. Frequency change approved.
Squawk and VFR frequency change approved. 85 knots here. Thank you. Switch to VFR. Let's arm our approach here. And now we will go over down here and we'll flip over to the CTAF. Okay, now here's...
maintain for level 240. Down to level 240, Walker 380.
Yeah, Jonathan, you might want to try that real sim gear stuff because it works seamlessly on the Cirrus side of things. So, okay, so we're heading down here. We're at 9,000 feet. Descending for 7,500. B path is going to handle, or VNAV is going to handle all the descents here. I just got to manage the speed here and keep my eye on the ball here. Okay, so now let's, while we're on that subject, let's go to our descent checklist. Altimeter is set, cabin heat defrost is set. We've got our landing light on. Our fuel system is set for fullest tanks. Our mixture is as required at the moment. We'll go full on it on final. Brake pressure we've checked, oxygen not required. Next checklist, we'll get our seat belts done. Fuel pump's going to stay on boost, and the rest we will handle when we get a little bit closer here. Let's go back to the flight plan. I'd like to see that displayed here. Jonathan, I've heard that. This time I set it within 5 minutes, and it worked the last couple nights, so I'm not sure whether it was the 500 or I'm just conscious of it, but it's working properly right now. We're heading down to 7,500. We got our speed is, I like to keep it around $150. The speed is a little more sensitive in the sim than it, or it's a little bit harder to dial in the speed on the sim than it is on my Cirrus. So let's go back here. So we got 7,500 and we want 5,700 at Meadle there. Okay, I don't want to do that. Sorry. Clear. Okay, let's go. Okay, so there's, you can see where we're going right there. Let's go look out the front. Okay, there's our little swing and turn to the right there to Meadle at 5,700. Okay, there's our 7,500. Now let's go back to our flight plan. We should be calculating a new top of descent at 7 seconds there. Time to bottom descent is picking it up there. V-path is engaged. V-path is engaged again. That's all good. We're descending. We need 1,400 feet to get to our next elevation here, and the VNAV is handling that. I'm going to have to manage some power here. Let's pull it back to about 30.
Walker 380, contact Oakland Center, 128.7.
We want 5,700 at Needle.
Walker 380.
Our Here's the numbers that are a reference right there. Well, that first one was not part of the approach. It was just the transition. So I set the altitude restriction there, and because I was directed by ATC for 7,500, so that's why I set 7,500. Okay, so now we're going to get 5,700 at Needle. We got it. New top of descent is calculated over here, as you can see. Got a new top of descent, 1 minute and 4 seconds there. Okay, now the power. I got to keep an eye on my power here, so I'm going to come back up to about 40-ish, 45. Should hold me at about 130 knots. The blue, Jonathan, means it's a set altitude. The white means it's a suggestion. Okay, let's get back up top here. We're looking good. Okay, so our top of descent is in 37 seconds. We've got 4,400 is our next altitude. That's at Hovli. 31 seconds to our top of descent. Beautiful down here in the Central Valley, California. $11 seconds to our top of descent. Let's see if V-path picks it up again. V-path is engaged. The green goes to green. We need 1,300 feet a minute to make Hovli at 4,400. Let's pull some power again. Back to 30-ish. Let's sync our heading here. Keeping that power under control here, the speed, let's keep it real here. Okay, this is where the power on the model here gets a little kooky. I'm going to show that to our good buddy Cooper LeCompo. I'm betting he's going to dial this thing in for us all. I now remember blue is true, white sheds light. Aviation acronyms. I got a few acronyms of my own. Most wouldn't pass muster, I think. Okay, so we got a big swing and right turn in here to the final approach. Okay, there's our approach there. That's our last big swing and turn, and now we are on heading for our final here. We want 3,400 at Woogop. I don't know who comes up with these names, but that is what it is. Okay, we're going to pull power again. And now here's where I'm going to go full mixture. We're on final approach. That's our landing checklist. Mixture is full. Flaps are required. We're not there yet. Let's go back to our map. Flight plan. Back to the map. Let's go flight plan here. Okay, so we want top of descent, 13 seconds to our top of descent now. We want 3,400 at Woogop, which is in 2.1 nautical miles. And there's the V-path picking it up again. You'll notice up here the approach is armed and ready to go. That power setting really just jumps and goes to nothing in no time. So let's get that back where it should be about 30-ish. Let's keep it around flap speed there. Yeah, there we go. All right. See, it's really jumpy there. Okay. Okay, so we're heading down to head down to 34, and then we're going to hit our final approach fix at 2700. We should be picking up the glide path here shortly. Okay, there's the glide path that's been picked up. All right, we're good now. Okay, so now I'm going to pull back our power here. Get us to flap speed. Okay, there's our first notch of flaps is coming in. Thing wants to pitch up. I'm going to hold that nose down. Okay, now on the G6, a little difference there. You can put those flaps in at 150, and that makes a huge difference if you happen to come in fast somewhere. Okay, so we're 1.4 at Jerbu. We got the glide path. We got good speed. We got the runway in sight, familiar sight. All right. Okay, let's bring it all the way home now. Let's look left over the valley on familiar route. Let's go right. All right, we're looking good on the glide path. Pink line is straight up. We're about 2,000 feet to minimums. We're half a mile to Jerbu. This approach point is going to be in about 6 miles. The sim plane, Jonathan, slows down pretty good, but on the G3, I'm constantly getting over speed readings because I'm used to putting the flaps in at just under 150 in the G6, and then the flaps, once I get down around under 110, I can go flaps too. So that's a big difference in the G6, and actually gives you a lot more capability to come in fast on some of the Class Charlie airports where you got commercial planes around. Gears already down. Okay, so this is where I'd be on a real flight. I'd be looking good right now. Everything's steady, everything's stable. The pink lines are straight up. The flight director, the yellow lines are tucked. I got mid-90s on the speed here, which is good. I still got 1 notch of flaps to go. I'm going to flip over to my left tank now here. Make sure we got that all set. Go back up top. We're just going to ride this puppy in. Okay, 3.7 miles to missed approach. Gear down 3 green. All right, that's what you get gear 3 down in the Vision Jet, right, JP? Okay, right here you'll notice one of my favorite things is the pathways coming in. Great stuff, great situational awareness. A lot of pilots don't like it. I love it. And another one of the things on the Torque Sim model that you don't see on Coronado, you don't see on some of the other ones. And it's a feature, certainly a lot of the brand new Cirrus pilots use it, I know that. All right, so we got good speed. We're at 700 to minimums. Heels are on the floor. Actually, my heels are up not quite on the floor just yet, but I'm gonna settle in here, get ready to go. Okay, we got 2.4 to the missed approach. We're 600 to minimums. Field in sight. Everything's good. Let's go to our plates here. Let's go to PRB. Okay, we're coming in on runway 19. All right, everything's good. 200 to minimums. I'm going to go flaps in, number 2, hold that nose down. Autopilot off. Trim it and get her going here. Okay, trim it down, trim it, trim it, trim it. There we go. Get her on the line there. You start pulling a little bit of power here. Get her on the...
Walker 380, connect NorCal approach, 121.3. 121.3, Walker 380.
Minimums.
Okay, runway made. I'm pulling that power back, trimming it up just a hair. Eyes down the runway. Hold it, 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 hold it. There we go. Paso Robles.
Walker 380 NorCal approach, San Francisco altimeter 2990. Thank you for your uniform, you can expect it.
Okay. Flaps are up. Let's get out over here on the next taxiway right there. Now I forgot to do my radio calls in there. That's bad on my part. Okay. There we go. We're going to taxi over there. All right, thank you. Thank you, folks, for joining me on the flight here today. Let me get over here and get out of Dodge here. Okay, we're crossing over. Ooh, let's stay on the runway here, Steve. This is one thing about the simulator that's definitely different than the real plane. This thing is just jumpy as all get up when you get on the ground. All right, there's a great little diner here in Paso Robles, so we'd probably go and have a little lunch after 4 hours of flying, and then it's an hour back home. Unload the gear and have a nice cold one here. Okay, let's get over to the fuel pumps, which is where we would be going. All right, let's go park right next to this Vision jet over here.
Number 833 uniform Papa, Gaston approach, 123.8.
Uh, 123.8, number 833 uniform Papa.
All right, let's get over to our little Vision jet here. Let's go. Hello, back here. There we go. Don't run into that Vision jet. That would be so expensive. All right, and there we go. All right, brakes parked, mixture off, throttle off, fuel pump off. Okay. All right, folks, that's Medford, Oregon to Paso Robles. Thanks for joining me here tonight. Thanks for joining me tonight, JP Hayes. I hope I'll see you in a week and a half or so. How do you handle fatigue when flying 4 hours in real life? I got about 5 hours in me in the air, Jonathan. Then that's what's going to get me home. So trust me, when I get within sniffing the barn here in LA, I'll make that last hour fly. So anyway, thanks for joining me here tonight, guys. That's the end of it for tonight. I'll see you again soon. Talk to you later. My name's Steve Rennie. I'm the Ren Baron. This is my Ren Baron Learning to Fly YouTube channel. See ya.